Hey everyone, I'm Amethescent, and today I will be seeing if my art has improved since last year. Every year I participate in a tradition where I draw an angel and compare it to previous years. This will be my 7th year doing this, thus marking 7 years of drawing, but this time it also marks the 1-year anniversary of my channel. I made a very similar video 1 year ago as my first video. So without further ado, let's get started. For this tradition, I try my best not to look at previous year's artwork so I won't be influenced by them. Unfortunately, I did have to look at the one from last year for my ranking art video. Luckily, it didn't really influence me beyond me deciding that I didn't want to draw something like that this year. With both the environment and the shading style, I honestly don't know why I did a more semi-realistic style last year, because that's not my usual style. This tradition is supposed to reflect my current ability, and that becomes somewhat nullified if I draw in a different style than usual. Starting out, I had no idea what to do. Still experiencing some burnout from school, I was drawing a blank. After scrolling through Pinterest for a while, looking for inspiration, I finally decided on a list of things I was aiming for the piece. I knew I wanted to do something with the wings and flying. I also wanted an overall celestial and heavenly feel. It is about an angel, after all. And then, I also wanted the character to be reaching towards something, and the piece to include the sun in some way. From all of that, I was able to come up with a cohesive idea of a ballerina angel in the clouds, reaching for the sun. Sometimes I make the angels I draw for these ballerinas, or give them aspects related to it, but I don't exactly know why. I guess there's just something about angels and ballerinas that seem to fit so well together in my eyes. I began with the face, which I wanted to be more on the mature side. In the past, I feel like a lot of the faces I would draw looked more babyish, so I was hoping to avoid that for this drawing. After finishing the face, I moved on to the hair. I wasn't sure what to do and tested out many different hairstyles. I tried to avoid the simple bun that I see most ballerinas sporting, but I also avoided long wavy hair, which is a preference I have to ignore for the sake of variety in my characters. I played around with several hairstyles before settling on a bun anyway, but even if it is a bun, it's not exactly the same as the ones you see on most ballerinas, which tends to be quite a bit tighter. I just didn't want the hair to take away from the bigger piece and composition, so having it tied up felt like the best course of action. Next was the body, which was a bit on the awkward side for me. It felt like forever since I last drew anatomy. I guess my drawing hand just needed to get warmed up because not long after I started, it felt natural again. It took quite a bit for me to decide on a pose. I looked at many pictures of ballerinas and angels before deciding on one depicting an angel with one leg raised, the other on points, one arm lifted, and the other resting over her chest. I tried out various wing positions as I was unsure how they would be positioned. I just knew it had to be in a way that enhanced the composition, except I didn't know what the composition should be. So I took a break to sketch out the positioning and composition, moved my angel to fit, and decided how the wings would look. Then I redrew the face because I didn't like the original version and I wanted it to look more expressive. Next were the clothes, which also took a bit for me to figure out what I wanted. I settled on something long, flowing, and angel-esque, with decorative bits that would allow me to add in some gold as an accent color. This would go well with the mostly white color scheme I was planning for her design. Those are the colors I think of when I think heavenly. I also gave her point shoes, though I didn't draw them as well as I would like. The background was what I worked on next, and it was quite hard. I basically wanted a sea of clouds broken apart by the sun in the top right corner. Except I didn't really know how to draw clouds. There is a cloud brush in Procreate, but I didn't want to have to rely on that. Using Procreate's perspective lines, I blocked out sections of clouds in a way that hopefully conveys some perspective. Then I set to work actually drawing the clouds. I attempted several tactics, but didn't like most of them. The clouds just didn't look like clouds to me, or I just didn't like how it looked. Also, I don't typically like my artwork to be cluttered, so I try to avoid making the clouds look too detailed. I eventually settled on a strategy I not only enjoyed, but thought actually looked good. Is it perfect? No, but it's good enough for me, and quite calming too. Lastly, I worked on the lighting. Since I first came up with this idea, I knew I wanted to add light radiating from the sun outward. This wasn't nearly as difficult as the cloud rendering and went quite quickly. And that's all. Here's the artwork again. I quite like how it looks, even though I don't usually like a lot of yellow in my art. I definitely think I succeeded in the heavenly vibe, but is it better than last year's piece? Honestly, I'm skeptical. This year's version is more true to my style, but last year's version has more to it. So, have I really improved since last year? Have I improved since 2 years ago? I know I've definitely improved since any time before that, but any improvement I've made in the past 2 years feels minuscule. But what do you think? I also rewatched my first video so I could see if anything has changed in my video making skills since then. I don't think there's too much of a difference, but there is something small I noticed. I'm not sure if it's just me, but does my voice sound different here? And today I will be continuing a tradition that I take part in every single year. It sounds a bit rough, less smooth, and louder. I assume it's because it was my first video and I was being overly cautious about how my voice sounded. I think by now I'm more used to it, which allows for my voice to be more relaxed. My voice is naturally more soft-spoken and quiet, and I think that shows better in my more recent videos. So I guess I have improved in that regard. This video is quite short compared to my normal videos, so I also want to take a moment to talk about my art goals for 2026. My first goal is to draw more men. If you've seen a lot of my art, you'll notice I have a preference for drawing women. There's no real reason for it though. I have nothing against men. In fact, most of my favorite characters in media are men. I've been drawing for 7 years now, so I have no excuse not to draw more men. My second goal is to experiment with my style, specifically the shading and rendering. I'm pretty happy with my line work and drawing style, but my shading and rendering could use an upgrade. It's not bad, but I'm getting a bit tired of my cel-shaded style. My third goal is to practice more, specifically anatomy, perspective, and lighting. Since starting YouTube and game development, I haven't dedicated much proper time to seriously practicing my drawing. I feel as if I've hit a bit of a plateau, when in the past, I feel like I've improved quite quickly. And my final goal is to draw more backgrounds. I draw a lot of characters with simple backgrounds, and I'm getting bored of it. I want to get more used to designing backgrounds and drawing characters in environments. So I'm going to try to avoid drawing anything floating in a colored void, unless it's a piece specifically meant to show off a design. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for a great first year of YouTube. If you would like to see more of my content, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Take care and farewell.